Hi Gosh Alchemy girls, I'm going to show you today a very cool technique that you can use with your paper napkins and just some Mod Podge. I have just received my Gosh Alchemy paper napkin artist kit, which is with 16 different napkins. Most of them are vintagey, but there are also some very modern patterns as well. It's a really fun kit because you can use your paper napkins for many crafts, especially mixed media. So I'm going to show you a very fun technique now on how to decorate a canvas with the paper napkin and how to make it 3D. So I have chosen this paper napkin to use, and I'm going to make sure that one of the roses remains intact because I'm going to use it for my 3D part. So I have chosen this part to cover my canvas, and I'm going to cut out the rest of it so I can work better with it. I'm going to use Mod Podge matte. There's also a glossy one. It depends the finish you want to have. So let's start. I'm just getting a flat paintbrush. Get some paint on the one edge of my canvas. Medium amount. Make sure you spread it well. And I'm only going to use like maybe 3 inches. I'm going to work part by part because I don't want any bubbles to form with my paper napkin. So each paper napkin has 3 layers. One is the design and the other 2 are just white paper, just white napkin, because you want that to wipe yourself. And what we're going to use is only the first part, the printed one. So I'm going to start. I'm going to place it very carefully. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work in this 3-inch part that I did with, again with my paintbrush and with a Mod Podge on top. And I'm going to use the movement towards outside the canvas because I want all the air bubbles to leave the canvas. And I'm going to work all the area where I had put Mod Podge underneath. Mod Podge also works as a sealer, so you don't need to put anything else on top. That's why we're putting both down and up. Down, under, and above the napkin. So I'm done with this part, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue putting some glue again, some Mod Podge. This time another 3 inches. Going to the opposite side from my paper napkin. And now it's going to be a tricky one. You have to be very careful not to tear your napkin or form bubbles. So what you have to do now is I'm going to turn it towards myself. I'm going to hold the napkin with a little bit pressure towards myself. And with a paintbrush, I'm going to start wiping down the glue towards me, making sure all the air bubbles go out. The air bubbles have the tendency to go out from my side because it's the open part, and by pressing evenly my paintbrush with the glue, it takes them off. I'm going to repeat the same procedure to fill in all the canvas, and then I'm going to show you the 3D part once it's dry. My canvas is now all dried up, and what I have used is from the excess of the paper napkin, I have cut out the same motif, the same flower that I'm using already in my canvas from the napkin. And I'm going to take again only the first part of the napkin, only the printed one, and these 2 papers I'm going to throw them away. It's better to cut out your print when you're going to have the whole napkin and not just the first leaf, because it's going to make life difficult for you because it's a very thin one. So let me show you how you can do the 3D canvas. I'm going to use again my favorite glue gun, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hot glue the motif that I want to print out. I'm going to put glue all around it. I'm going to do first the perimeter, and then I'm going to continue onwards and fill it all up. So the whole motif that I'm going to use plenty of hot glue to cover it up. And I'm going to let it dry because right now my glue is really hot. And that's what you do. You fill it up, wait to cool it, and I'm going to show you the next step. My canvas is all dried up, and I'm going to use, can you see the hot glue gun did its work and it's all puffy, oops, and 3D paint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use again some Mod Podge on top of it, on top only of my glue, my hot glue. And now I'm going to carefully place my motif in the same manner that it is underneath. I'm going to check the line so that it works the same. Okay, it's always good if you have it a little bit larger than you are planning to, because the glue is going to be more puffy and it's going to need more air for the napkin. And then I'm going to use again plenty of Mod Podge on top to glue it down, my motif. Again, all my movements are outwards, going away from the center, so that takes all the air bubbles and makes it smooth and even. And it's actually ready. I'm going to wait for it to dry up. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you a very nice thing on how to use some gold leafing, again 3D, for a decoupage mixed media canvas like this one. We get, I don't know how it happens in the States, but in Greece we get the gold leaves in leaves. And you have to breathe very lightly when you're close to them because they tend to fly away and glue everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I want to make a corner here across my motif. What you're going to do is you can use a pencil and draw down what you want to have as a pattern, or you can use directly your hot glue gun if you feel comfortable with it. I'm going to make a nice motif for a corner with it. My glue gun has a very thin tip, so that makes it easier to make fine lines. Okay, so that's what I've done with my glue gun. And before it dries up, and while it's still hot, I'm going to place a gold leaf on top of it. And then very, very, very lightly, I'm going to press down with my hands. You have to wait just a little bit for the glue to a little bit get cooler, but it still has to be hot for the gold leaf to glue. It's the easiest ever technique you have seen for gold leafing. Okay, I'm going to take the excess part off. I usually keep them in a plastic cup because you can use them many times even if it is all scrunched up. Okay, and now I'm going to take a paintbrush, just a second. I'm going to use a paintbrush, a dry one, with a little bit thick hair. And now I'm going to brush away the excess of the gold leafing. You have to be sure when you're going to do that, you have to be sure that that your canvas is already dried up. Otherwise, the gold leaf is going to glue down to the Mod Podge that you have already put. So you do that, and all the excess goes off. It doesn't matter if you try it hard because all the gold leafing is already inside the hot glue. So I have some bits and pieces that glue down in the Mod Podge which wasn't dry, but you can get the picture. So here's a canvas with two techniques that you can use. 3D napkin technique with my favorite Gosh Alchemy paper napkin artist kit, and some gold leafing on hot glue to make some extra elements. So I really hope you try it and show us what you do. Kisses, bye!